Hey guys, it's Steven the Vegan. It's quite late at the moment, but I promised you guys a video today, so I'm gonna do it today. I don't know if any of you read, but like this morning I did a video about the saving face and how to give a facial massage. But being the techno retard that I am, I completely ruined it. They didn't record any sound, and YouTube wouldn't even accept it because it was too long, and I realised that you need to have videos that are 10 minutes or less. So what I'm going to do is, I have Saving Face with me now, and I'm going to put the serums in 3 videos. So I'm going to do Saving Face, Full of Grace, and How to Give a Facial Massage. And I'm going to do Full of Grace another day, when I have one, but I can do the 2 videos today for you guys. So you have to give me because I'm really tired. We had a kids party at work today and it was really fun, but I'm just really exhausted, but in a happy way. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the ingredients and what they're good for, and also the fact that Saving Face in itself is not just for things like oily skin. It can combat quite a few things that are to do with things like acne, etc. And I'll tell you why. It's made with a base of Illipi and shea butter, and Illipi butter is one of our new ingredients. We've only used it recently in a few products. You'll notice it in Heavenly Massage Bar and in things like Vanilla Delight Body Lotion. And why I've been using it is because it's a very light one, and it really sinks into the skin very quickly. You notice anyone who's used like Heavenly or Vanilla Delight, it does sink in very quickly in comparison to something like Dream Cream, unless you have like eczema, etc. But and as with all things like Lush, we've put balancing ingredients in there as well, because I know some of you might be thinking, oh, like Illipi butter, shea butter, they're too oily for my skin, and my skin's oily already. The best thing for oily skin is actually more oil, because what it does is it kind of helps to take it off, but in this case it helps to make like a base to protect your skin whilst the essential oils get to work. And we've put in some kaolin in there as well, which is a kind of clay, and so that stops the oils from being too oily. So in that respect, you're covered with that. I've got quite oily skin. I've got like combination skin, and it's really oily around like the T-zone, and I get really shiny by the end of the day, and I've been using this with no problems whatsoever. So I'll talk a bit about the ingredients. You've got loads of citrus in there, and citrus is really good for toning the skin. It's good for brightening the complexion, and it's also really enzymatic, which means it kind of eats away at any kind of oil on your skin, and it's kind of really antibacterial as well. So what we've got in there, things like the lime oil and the lime juice, that's one of the biggest ingredients, and that's just really brightening in itself, and again it's going to eat the excess oil, and it's what gives it a smell kind of thing. Like, it actually smells a bit like a cocktail, which is really nice. This is how big it is. You can't really see. Here's my hand in comparison. It seems really small at first, but I've actually been using this a couple of times and I haven't really made a dent in it. I've got rid of like the outside thinnest layer, but I am quite generous with it. So I'm always really generous with products because I want to know how long they'll actually last from day-to-day life. And I will tell you that this will last quite a long time. You've got jojoba in there as well, or some people call it jojoba. I call it jojoba, and it's not technically an oil, but what it does is it mimics our skin's sebum, and sebum is your own natural oil that comes from out of your skin, and it really helps to hydrate the skin, and it helps the essential oils to sink in even better, and it just keeps you looking really fresh. It's good for like that dewy complexion, and following that we've got thyme. We've got a thyme infusion, which kind of means like a herbal tea of thyme, if that makes sense. And thyme is an amazing ingredient. I've been learning quite a lot about thyme recently. It's really astringent, which means it helps to tighten the skin, so it kind of pulls it up. It's really nice. And why that's useful for things like acne and spots is that you'll kind of get a little bit of scarring with acne, and you'll have really open pores. So that kind of helps to close them off. You'll find also thyme in Grease Lightning, and that's why we put it in there. Grease Lightning, if you haven't heard of it, it's a really nice little spot treatment. It's a little pumpy bottle, and it's really useful for like really red kind of inflamed spots and really sore bits, if you're a bit oily. And then after that we've got things like, we've got talc. Talc is actually a really nice pure mineral, not to be confused with talcum powder, which is not very nice. But talc in itself is really good at absorbing excess oil. So again, we put that in there. We've put it also in the colour supplements to help do the same thing, absorb the excess oil. So we kind of have you covered for the fact that if you're worried that it kind of make you a bit too oily, it won't. We've got grapefruit in there as well, which is a really big detoxifier, and that will kind of sink in. It's kind of antibacterial as well, so it will help kind of get to the root of the problem. It kind of soothes spots in the way that it will kind of kill the bacteria. It's a little bit toning as well because obviously it's a citrus oil, but it's really, really good for detox. And it's good if you're hungover as well to drink some grapefruit juice. If you're hungover, that will help. I think this one would be good if you have a cold, just to kind of smell it, just like, you know, kind of sort you out, or you're a bit hungover as well. One of the last ingredients is neroli oil, and neroli, we put it in our therapy massage bar. You'll also find it in things like Gorgeous Moisturizer, and what it does is it's kind of like the oil supreme for toning the skin. It's fantastic for things like stretch marks and scars, and in here, obviously it's a really toning one, but I think it's fantastic for any kind of acne scarring. So if you've got any leftover scars from like old kind of outbreaks that don't seem to have really gone away, like little dents in your skin and things like that, it'll really help with things like that. It's also, again, a really brightening one, like I said. I'm probably repeating myself a lot, do slap me. But neroli, I think, is really handy for people like me who have the really kind of horrible habit of like popping their spots, because obviously that's going to cause a scar, and you need to kind of prevent that, or stop popping your spots, but like, it's pretty addictive. The last ingredient we've got there is chlorophyll, or chlorophyllin. But basically that's from plant leaves. It's an extract. I've seen it in its raw form. It's a really, really dark green colour. But we put it as a colour pigment. But it also has some really kind of funky ingredients for fighting acne. It's kind of... it's got a lot to it that's really good at closing off your pores if they're too big. You know, if you've got kind of an outbreak going on. You'll find it in things like love lettuce and mask of Magnum mint tea. Herbalism is what give it those colours, and there's a reason why those products as well are really good for acne, oily skin, combination skin, things like that. So I think that I've covered the ingredients, and I'll just say a little bit about how the essential oils work. What they do is you've got about 5 layers of skin. You've got 5 layers of skin comprised of like different layers of the individual cell, like skin cells, but I'm not going to go too scientific with that. Basically, essential oils are small enough to get into our bloodstream because they're very, very, very tiny, and they kind of sink in, and that's how they work in the way of kind of combating any kind of problems, because they will actually start deeper in the layers of skin. What you see on the outside is basically the end product, and it kind of helps to get to the root of the problem. So things like Saving Face, the product Saving Face, I think would be really good at also brightening the skin. It's very good for toning the skin, and I think it's also very good for scarring of the skin. Any kind of old scars, I think it'd be fantastic for, along with something like Gorgeous Moisturizer, because of the neroli oil content. But yeah, so don't just don't write it off if you don't think that it'll be good for you because you don't have acne or you don't have oily skin, but you may have like old scars and things like that that would kind of need to be helped. Because I have them. I have some old scars I'm still trying to get rid of, but I have noticed a little bit of an improvement in the brightness of my skin with using this, and I think that's just about it. If you have any questions, I'm sure there's some kind of comment box down here. I think I'll test that. I don't know. But yeah, feel free to comment on what you like, didn't like, whatever. Slap me, that's fine. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, I'm a bit tired, my voice is starting to go, but I'm going to do another video next on the massage, so I help you out with that one, and I'll do Full of Grace another day when I get hold of one. I hope that's cool. So, I'm just coming up to 10 minutes now, so I'm going to say goodbye to you guys, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.